You lose everything.
Finally, we win. Please, don't do this to me.
The 6 a.m. sunlight filtered through the blinds like jagged glass. Mark stepped into the foyer, smelling of expensive bourbon and a perfume that definitely wasn't Elena's. He checked his reflection in the hallway mirror, adjusting his tie with the practiced ease of a man who believed his own lies. He expected silence. He expected Elena to be asleep, the dutiful wife waiting to be woken by his rehearsed excuses about late-night mergers and dead batteries. Instead, he found her in the kitchen. She wasn't cooking. She sat at the mahogany table, a single suitcase resting by her feet, and a lukewarm cup of tea in her hands. She looked different, not angry, but finished. "You're up early," Mark said, his voice dropping into that smooth, condescending baritone. He tossed his keys onto the counter. The Miller deal ran late. "I told you it would be a long night, didn't I?" Elena didn't look up. "I didn't ask where you were, Mark." He paused, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. "Well, I'm telling you, it was grueling. My phone died around midnight." He walked toward her, reaching out to pat her shoulder, a gesture of hollow affection. "You look tense. Did you have a bad dream?" Elena finally raised her eyes, and the sheer emptiness in them made him freeze. "I didn't dream at all," she whispered. "I spent the night watching the doorbell camera feed on my laptop." Mark's hand stopped inches from her skin. "The camera?" Mark forced a laugh, the sound brittle in the quiet kitchen. "The camera? Elena, you're being paranoid. I told you I was at the office. If the feed shows I wasn't at the front door, it's because I was working." He leaned against the counter, crossing his arms. "Is this what we've become? You spying on me like a suspicious teenager?" Elena didn't blink. "I wasn't looking at our front door, Mark. I was looking at the camera you installed at the corporate apartment on 5th Street. The one you said was for visiting consultants." Mark's posture stiffened. The blood drained from his face, leaving his tan looking sallow. "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have access to those feeds. Only IT does. You gave me the login 2 years ago when we were decorating it, remember?" Elena stood up slowly. Her movements were fluid, devoid of the frantic energy he usually exploited. "I saw Sarah enter at 10 p.m. I saw you arrive at 10:15, and I saw you both leave 40 minutes ago. It's not what it looks like," he snapped, his voice rising as he pivoted to offense. "We were reviewing files. It's a workspace. You're spiraling, Elena. This jealousy is becoming a mental health issue. If you've touched my private accounts, we have a serious legal problem." He took a step toward her, reclaiming his space, his shadow looming over her. "Delete whatever you think you saw." Suddenly, his phone buzzed violently. It was a notification from his bank. Mark glanced at the screen, his thumb trembling as he swiped. His eyes widened. "What is this? Why is the joint investment account empty, Elena? That's $400,000. He looked up, his face contorting from calculated gaslighting to genuine panic. "That money is for the firm's expansion. You can't just move it. That's theft." Elena pulled a folded document from her pocket and slid it across the table. It wasn't the bank transfer receipt. It was a photo, grainy but unmistakable, of Mark handing a thick envelope to a man in a dark car 3 weeks ago. "The expansion," Elena said, her voice a chilling calm. "Is that what you call paying off the auditor to hide the fact that you've been skimming from your partner's pensions to fund Sarah S.'s lifestyle?" Mark lunged for the photo, but she pulled it back. "You're delusional," he hissed, though sweat was now beading on his forehead. "That was a private investment. You have no idea how business works. You're a housewife who spends her days at brunch. Give me my money back, or I swear to God I didn't take the money, Mark. I returned it." She leaned in, her eyes locking onto his. "I sent it back to the firm's escrow account this morning with a detailed memo. I also sent a copy of that photo to your senior partner, Mr. Sterling. He should be opening his email right about ... double quotes. She glanced at her watch. Now, Mark's phone began to ring. The caller ID read, Sterling Office. Mark stared at the vibrating phone as if it were a live grenade. The silence of the kitchen was deafening, punctuated only by the rhythmic hum of the refrigerator. He didn't answer, couldn't. The power he had wielded for a decade, the subtle belittling, the financial control, the lies that reshaped her reality had evaporated in the span of a single sunrise. "You ruined us," he whispered, his voice cracking. "Everything I built. You threw it away, for what? Revenge." "No, Mark." "For the truth," Elena replied, picking up her suitcase. The weight of it no longer felt heavy. "Teen Ruan. You. I simply stopped helping you hide who you really are. Cruelty is loud, but self-respect is quiet. I've been quiet for a long time." She placed a final envelope on the mahogany surface. It wasn't a bank statement or a photo. It was the divorce petition already signed and notarized. "The locks are being changed at noon," she said, walking toward the door. "The corporate apartment is in my name, by the way. I bought the lease out of the personal inheritance you told me was worthless. You and Sarah should probably start packing before the locks change there too." Mark stood frozen, a ghost in his own home, as the front door clicked shut behind her. Elena stepped into the morning air, breathing deeply for the first time in years. He had returned, expecting a victim. He was left with nothing but the consequences of his own reflection. "Would you like me to help you brainstorm another high-stakes story, or perhaps develop a character profile based on this narrative?"